Hello and welcome to today's NinjaTrader Ecosystem webinar event with Steve Wheeler of NaviTrader. My name is Tiffany and I'm a platform representative at NinjaTrader. Today's webinar is interactive, so if you'd like to ask questions during the presentation, please open the chat window. You can open the chat by moving your mouse to the bottom of the Zoom window and pressing the chat icon. Once you have the chat window enabled, I'd like to test for audio and visual. So you can hear my voice and see the projection in the room. Please type a Y into the chat now. Thank you all for confirming that. Again, we have a very special event with you today with Steve of NaviTrader. But before we get started, I'd like to place a poll into the room. While you fill that out, I'd like to mention that it is important to understand that there are substantial risks in trading commodity future contracts and Forex. You should carefully consider whether such trading is suitable for you and will depend on your specific circumstances and financial resources. It is possible to lose all funds deposited with your broker and could even incur losses beyond these amounts. Please inquire at the link provided for more information or for a copy of the CFTC full risk disclosure. Also, please remember that these trading webinars are not a solicitation nor recommendation, but simply educational in nature. This webinar is presented by NinjaTrader LLC, which is the technology company responsible for developing and supporting the NinjaTrader trading software. Brokerage-related questions should be directed to the NinjaTrader brokerage directly at the information provided. Oh, I apologize. It looks like I didn't copy that. There you go. Okay, thank you so much for filling out that poll. Question is, what type of tools or services have you used with the NinjaTrader ecosystem? It appears 51% are using it for indicators, 16% for education, 1% for programming services, and 32% have not yet used the NinjaTrader ecosystem. With new tools added nearly every day, NinjaTrader ecosystem is home to hundreds of apps and services. You can quickly and easily find the tools and service you're looking for with a simple keyword search. You'll also find information about upcoming webinars in an on-demand video archive to view event recordings at the link provided. For up-to-date information, be sure to like or follow NinjaTrader ecosystem on social media. I provided both Twitter as well as Facebook links. NinjaTrader is always free for advanced charting, strategy backtesting, and trade simulation. To ensure you're on the latest version of NinjaTrader and pick up a free live data trial, please visit the following link. You can purchase or lease NinjaTrader at the following link. And if you're just getting started with NinjaTrader, we offer free live training on a daily basis. You can view a schedule of weekly webinars at the following link. We are very excited for this unique event in which Steve will demonstrate how to quickly identify market direction and price action using minimal indicators. Thanks again for your attendance today, and without further ado, it is my pleasure to welcome to the NinjaTrader webinar room, Steve. Please take it away, Steve.
Thanks, Tiffany, and thank you to NinjaTrader for promoting and providing this platform for us today. My name is Steve Wheeler. I'm an active trader. I trade live accounts every day, both in the futures markets, also in the stock market. I mostly trade futures and invest in stocks. All right, so for the last more years than I want to think about, I've been trading futures and running a live training room every week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we do that training room. So let's go ahead and move on with our presentation here. By the way, we will have a number of free gifts for all attendees today. All you have to do is send an email to support@navitrader.com. You can see those free gifts: essential steps for trading the futures markets, how to balance risk and reward in trading, critical steps before you enter and exit any trade, how to develop your trading plan, and some trader e-lessons that are on our trader videos website. So a number of free gifts there. All you do is send an email to support@navitrader.com to take advantage of that. By the way, we just mentioned too, if you do send an email, you will be invited to a special event we're going to have tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern. And we're going to show you all of our tools in live market. All right, so today, just a very brief rundown of what we're going to talk about. Positive expectancy plan and trader checklist. Essentially, trading is like any other business. If you plan to profit, you probably will. If you don't plan, you probably won't. So you need to plan for a positive expectancy. Positive expectancy, in the simplest terms, just means that mathematically you have a probability of profiting on your trades. We're going to talk about risk management, when to stay out of the market. One of the things I recommend to everyone is look at yourself, number one, as a risk manager, number two, as a trader. So think of yourself as a risk manager. Also, how to limit your emotions, how to automate managing your trades, how to learn setups, and when to exit from your move. All right, so here at NaviTrader, we've been here since 2002, and we have traders all over the world running these charts in various markets. So we're going to show you not only the stock index futures, but how they can be applied to the Forex markets, crude oil, and really any market that you've got data for. By the way, everything that we are going to show you here today runs exclusively in the NinjaTrader platform. I do recommend version 8. I believe NinjaTrader says there's over 500 enhancements in version 8 versus NinjaTrader 7. So I do recommend NinjaTrader 8. When I first started trading, these tools were not available. And my philosophy on trading is you want to have the best tools. It's like anything else in life. If you have the right tools, then you have a greater chance of succeeding. If you don't have the right tools, kind of like tying your arms behind your back, you don't want to do that. All right, so I've had a number of things I've done in my life. I was a CPA here in Florida for a while, and also did troubleshooting of large computer networks for about 15 years. So troubleshooting. Now, trading successfully reminds me of troubleshooting. You need to troubleshoot all the problems of trading before you're likely to succeed. And we're going to kind of cover that. It's kind of going to be the theme of what we're going to talk about here today. But you can see on the screen, these charts are very intuitive. You can see we automate the signals. The magenta arrow is a sell signal. The green arrow is the buy signal. Okay, there's also a line above the red price bars and below the green price bars. That is our NaviPM indicator. It's a proprietary indicator. One of the things that I like about our charts is you don't need a lot of indicators. Really only 2 indicators on this screen. Our price bars are actually an indicator. They're called Navi bars. The line above or below the price bars is called the NaviPM signal line. And that signal line can be used for several functions. One is a trailing stop, which is what you would commonly think of. But you can also use it to enter trades on pullback. So there's a number of different ways it can be used. One thing I suggest to everyone is the more that you can trade, it sounds kind of crazy, but the more that you can trade like a machine, the better you're going to be. All right, so anyway, this is the NaviPM signal line. These are our trend indicator charts. They do run exclusively with NinjaTrader. All right, so some things that you need to do. Number one, you need to trust. You need to have a system that you can trust. Then you need to be able to trust the signals. You need to have the discipline to actually execute the signals and discipline to manage your risk. Now, one of your best friends is truth. Truth in terms of which way the market is going. All right, so our charts in real time will give you the market direction. We don't use any lagging indicators. Each one of our price bars has a built-in algorithm to tell you the direction for that particular bar. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that as we go along here today. All right, so one of the basics of trading, it really is probability favors the continuation of a trend. And that's why we call our charts the trendicator charts. The algorithm shows you the actual likely direction for each price bar. Now, in this presentation, I'm going to talk about what we call the signal line. Signal line is the green line that you see underneath the price bars, or the red line above the price bars. That signal line will give you the probable direction. And it's also our NaviPM indicator. Another thing I've done in my life is I'm a pilot. And I can also relate being a pilot to trading. All right, so professional pilots and pilots that plan on being around a while are pilots who use a checklist, and they're very disciplined. And it doesn't matter if they've been a pilot for 50,000 hours of flight time. It will still use a checklist. A lot of the more modern aircraft today actually have the checklist built right into a screen that's on the panel of the airplane. And of course, the checklist is going to be dependent on which aircraft you're flying. But you can see through every phase of flight, a professional pilot uses a checklist. Actually, in the last 30 years, in commercial aircraft, we've had an 83% reduction in accidents. And a lot of that has to do with using good discipline and using checklists. All right, so let's talk a little bit about checklists and training. All right, so this morning, we had a couple things that happened early today. We had the unemployment claims report at 8:30 and also factory orders at 10 o'clock. Those things can be market movers. Also tomorrow morning, which is first Friday of the month, we do have the employment report, which is coming out at 8:30 tomorrow morning. So if you're able to watch the markets tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern, you should see a lot of movement on that jobs report tomorrow morning at 8:30. All right, so best practices checklist, check pending news. Typically, I like to not be in the market when I've got some big news item coming out like this jobs report tomorrow morning. Okay, the second item I would consider probably one of the more crucial things on your list. Do I have the conditions for entry into a trade? Now, what we've done with our charts is actually automate the signals, which makes it a lot simpler, because your question should be, do I have a signal or do I not have a signal? Okay, so that's the question. Also, am I trading the correct instrument? Different instruments carry with them much different degrees of risk. For example, there's much more risk in trading the E-mini than there would be in the micro E-mini, the MES. So for newer traders, and even a lot of people who are experienced traders, I do recommend the micro futures. Some benefits, so we'll talk about more as we go along, but you can scale in and out of positions. Get in with a small position. If it's working, add to it. If it's not, get out. Number 4, I've selected a stop and target strategy with NinjaTrader. That is called the ATM strategy. Also, I selected the correct account. For example, have you ever traded thinking you were trading live and you're actually trading sim? You made a nice profitable trade, but you actually were had the selected sim, or vice versa. So also position sizing, very crucial item. We're going to talk more about that as we go along too. Position sizing is one of the more crucial, important areas when it comes to risk management. Number 7, just take a second to think about the trade before you get in. Make sure you've covered all these bases. Once you're in the trade, make sure you're managing your trailing stops. With our charts, we can actually automate that process. Exit any partial positions at targets, close positions at trailing stops. And very important, number 4, monitor your daily profit and loss. Monitor your daily profit and loss. One thing with risk management, you want to set some limits for yourself. Okay, so that's something you do in the NinjaTrader Control Center. Click on the Accounts tab, and you can monitor your daily profit and loss. All right, so also, after your trading day, update your daily log. Just like again, I can relate this back to the aviation industry. If they have an accident, they're going to analyze that accident and try to determine what happened to try to avoid that happening in the future and somebody getting hurt or killed because of it. So same thing with trading. You don't want to kill your trading account. You want to figure out what you're doing wrong and rectify that right away. Also, at the end of the day, make sure you don't have any open orders or positions that you're not aware of. And also with NinjaTrader, you can set your system to global simulation mode. That way it's not going to execute any trades that you're not aware of. Again, monitor your daily profit and loss and then note any lessons from the day. All right, so with we talked about positive expectancy. We're going to go through this very quickly. Expectancy just means mathematically, do you have a probability of success? If you're not doing this math, then you're asking for trouble with your trading. All right, so I'm going to give you an example here with the E-mini with a 4-tick stop and a 12-tick profit target. If I'm even correct 40% of the time in my trades, I'm going to have a positive expectancy. So you may want to copy that down. 4-tick stop, 12-tick target on the E-mini will give you a positive expectancy, providing you have at least 40% of your trades that are profitable. All right, so if you want to set that up in NinjaTrader, it's done in your ATM strategy. You just put in a 4-tick stop, 12-tick profit target, save that as your ATM strategy, and make sure to select that ATM strategy before you get into your trade. All right, so here's an example with the MES. 10-tick stop, 30-tick profit target will also give you a positive expectancy. All right, so we're going to talk about what I would consider right now one of the very best trade setups based on our charts. The top 2 charts are volume charts. So top 2 charts are volume charts. We've got a NASDAQ 1000 volume and an E-mini 1000 volume. Below that, I've got Renko charts. Now these Renko charts are our own proprietary Renko charts. If you bring up a Renko chart in NinjaTrader, you're not going to see these exact charts. So these charts are unique. You can see the green arrows are put there automatically. It's not something we put in after the fact. All right, so I've got green arrows on the top 2 charts, which are volume charts. I've got green arrows on the bottom 2 charts, which are Renko charts. Those signals are all there automatically. And those automated signals are what we call our automator. They are put there automatically by the charts. All right, so if you remember what I said a few minutes ago, before you get into a trade, make sure that you have a signal. All right, so once you have the signal, take the trades. Again, manage your risk. Now, obviously, anyone who's traded for a while knows that no signal is going to be right every time. What you're looking for is something that's correct most of the time. All right, so setup number 2 here is correlated signals between the volume and Renko charts. This is just on the NASDAQ. So volume and Renko charts giving the same signal on the same instrument. Okay, the last screen, we had the E-mini and the NASDAQ doing that. Here we've got the NASDAQ. This could be the NASDAQ or the E-mini giving us a signal on volume and Renko. All right, so a lot of questions I get from people are, do we have alerts? And the answer to that is yes, we have. The alerts log, you can see here I've got a long signal right here on the NASDAQ and the E-mini, these 2 that are highlighted on the screen. You can see those signals came in within a few seconds of each other, 8:46 and 18 seconds on the NASDAQ and 8:45 and 43 seconds on the E-mini, so very close together. We also have the sound alerts too. So not only the alerts in the alerts window, but also sound alerts. Okay, so the sound alerts too are something you could turn on or off. Some people like them, other people don't. Okay, so you've got that. All right, so here's setup number 3. This is correlated signals on 2 different volume charts. 2 different correlated volume charts. Now, NASDAQ and E-mini are very correlated. There are other markets that you can find correlation in. For example, the Australian dollar and New Zealand dollar are extremely well correlated. So lots of different correlations in the market. All right, so again, here is the volume signal on the E-mini and the NASDAQ. This would be where they both turn to a red signal line. All right, so a little bit about my trading of futures. Some of the reasons I like futures, because I can profit in up and down markets every day. There are trade opportunities in both directions, both long and short. And I would urge everyone to try to avoid any biases, any long or short biases. Take the long trades, take the short trades, and again, don't have a bias one way or the other. Markets move both directions every day. These futures markets tend to get overbought, oversold. So when they're overbought, they'll tend to pull to the downside. When they're oversold, they'll pull back to the upside. All right, so also with futures, no overnight risk. I don't hold any positions overnight. You do have the ability to leverage your capital. With a relatively small amount of capital, you can control quite a bit of effectively trading capital. You don't have the day trading rules that you have in the stock market, and also you can do this from any location. All right, so we're doing a directional trade. So what we need to know is which way the market's going in as real time as possible. Now, our charts don't use any lagging indicators. We don't use anything like moving averages or anything like that. Each price bar actually has an algorithm built into that particular bar. You can even use our charts on short-term charts, such as a 5-second chart, 2-second chart. They'll still give you direction on that short time frame. All right, let's talk very quickly about troubleshooting and trading. 6 problems that people have that you need to avoid. Number 1, being over leveraged. Number 2, they don't have a system. Number 3, they don't follow a system. Number 4, they cut their winners too quickly. And number 5, they let their losers run. So they kind of do a lot of traders do the opposite of what they should do. They cut their winners quickly, but when they're in a losing trade, they keep hoping it'll come back. And ultimately, when it hurts too bad, they just get out of the trade. All right, so number 6 is mistakes. So we're going to go through these things fairly quickly. As far as over leveraging, this webinar will be recorded. So if you need to review it, we will have it recorded. I believe NinjaTrader also puts it on YouTube as well. All right, so very quickly, as far as leverage, I would recommend for most people, especially if you're starting or you're trading a smaller account, start out with the micro futures MES or MNQ. There are other micro contracts also available. Start with one contract, get profitable on that one contract before you start moving on to more contracts. Number 2, you don't have a system. If you don't have a system, you need to find one. All right, so what we've done is actually built a system into our charts. Magenta arrows are sell, green arrows are buy signals. Okay, so here's a volume chart on the NASDAQ. Magenta arrow sell, green arrow buy. Okay, on this screen, I'm going to very quickly show you how our trailing stops work. We'll go through this very quickly. I won't let it play through the whole video, but essentially what you're seeing here is a sell signal. This is on the NASDAQ. And as the market moves lower, that pink line is going to move lower. That'll be the trailing stop. In fact, one of the biggest requests that people have made with trading platforms is to have an automated trailing stop system. So here is the automated trailing stop. All right, so you can see we had the magenta arrow, which was the sell. And as the market moves lower, you can see that pink line, which is the buy stop, that's your trailing stop, and a short position is moving down. All right, so that's the idea of the trailing stops. All right, so let's go ahead and continue on here. All right, so another thing we said with trading, you need to let your winners run. And as we know, a lot of people with their trading, they take profits very quickly, but let their losses run, which is the opposite of what you need to do. All right, so here's a volume chart with 3 different signals on it. Another volume chart here. With our volume charts, you can actually take trades just based on the actual signal line on the volume chart. So here's an example of 2 sell signals, correlated signals on the NASDAQ and E-mini volume charts. All right, so what we said before is do your trades based on objective data. And what we've done is made that decision-making process as simple as possible just by putting the automated signals on the screen. So again, make system-based decisions based on the signals. All right, so very important to follow a system. And then, as I said before, well, don't cut your winners quickly, let your winners run. So here's an example of a 44-point move down on the NASDAQ. And again, plan for positive expectancy. Reason for that is because you're going to have some losing trades. And of course, losing trades are going to be, you're going to give up some of your capital when you have a losing trade, but you need to more than offset that with your winning trades. All right, so the charts can be used in a number of different markets. Here's Euro futures, some buy and sell signals on the Euro futures, 6E contract. And also for those people trading the spot Forex market, the charts work the same way on the Forex market. Here's the British pound futures. All right, problem 5, letting your losing trades run. Okay, the answer to that is you need to use stops. All right, so we talked about that a few minutes ago. 4-tick stop, 12-tick target will test very well with the E-mini. The reason for that stops are good is they will take the emotion out of your trading and they will enforce discipline in your trading. Number 6, mistakes. Again, have a checklist. You may want to use this checklist. You may want to expand the checklist for your own personal purposes. Again, here's a chart on crude oil, Dow futures, gold. All right. Now I'm going to review for any questions. All right. One of the most common questions I get from people is, how does your system strategy deal with choppy areas and days? Well, again, it's going to actually automate the signals, and in all candor, you will have some days that are better trading days than others. I'm afraid there's nobody that's going to have a 100% solution to that. However, we do teach some things in our program, how you can look for what I call volume consolidations, which will be what you may think of as a choppy market, and look for trades up or down out of those volume consolidations. Next question is it possible to see the indicators on the live charts? Yes, absolutely. Tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, we're going to have a live session. So if you send an email to NaviTrader, support@NaviTrader.com, support@NaviTrader.com, we will invite you to that session. See a question, can we backtest this using Ninja? Yes, you can. Actually, the reason you can backtest it because here at NaviTrader, we've developed the ability to backtest these charts. So yeah, we have that ability. See a question, Renko charts move fast. How easy is it to get entries? Very easy. The markets we're trading here are very liquid markets, E-mini and NASDAQ, very liquid markets, so not a problem getting into trades. See a question, is this applicable to equities? Absolutely. You just have to make sure you've got charting for equities. Okay, so everything I'm showing you here does run in the NinjaTrader platform. See a question, isn't a 4-tick stop a tight stop on the ES? It really depends on your entry techniques. We do teach some things in our program that will show you how to get into trades with fairly tight stops. All right, so on the screen right now, and by the way, if you're typing in questions, I'm going to get to your questions here in just a minute. All right, so I want to cover all the questions. Now, let me just mention too, if you do have a question, you feel it was overlooked, make sure to send an email to support@NaviTrader.com. So as I mentioned in the beginning, we're going to have 5 gifts for all attendees today. By the way, very big turnout here today. Appreciate everyone joining us. And I want to give a big thank you to NinjaTrader for providing this platform here today. All right, so 5 gifts for all attendees. You can see them on the screen. Trader e-guide, risk management guide, professional trader checklist, trading plan e-guide, and also access to our trader videos on our website. Okay, so just send an email to support@NaviTrader.com. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and talk about our special for today, and I'm going to go back to the chat area and review any questions. All right, so here at NaviTrader, we offer these charts on a multi-year subscription. All right, so a bonus for the first 20 new signups here today. Instead of 1 year of our charts, you're going to get 2 years. Now, the trend indicators are the charts that I've just shown you. The charts are the charting that we've just gone over. Included with this is what we call the automator. The automator is the automated signals on the screen, the automated buy and sell signals, which will give you the setups in real time. So that's the automator. Also the trade finder, you can see on the screen. Trade finder you can use to analyze multiple markets at one time. Here you can see I've got the Dow, crude oil, and NASDAQ on this screen. Analyzing these charts for a number of different technical indicators simultaneously. So that's the trade finder. Also, in addition to the charts, you will have access to our live market training room. And as I mentioned before, tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock Eastern, we're going to open up that room to everyone who sends an email to support@NaviTrader.com. We're going to invite you to the live session. You'll be able to see these charts under real-time market conditions. All right, so anyway, with this special, you're going to get 2 months in our live market training room. It's open from 9 to 11, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, except for holidays. Also, for all members, we do have a member training video website. So all of our members. All right, so we also provide unlimited support during your subscription. And when you get started with our program, we do a one-on-one personal mentoring session where we make sure that all of your charts are set up correctly. The installation is done onto your computer. You will need to have the NinjaTrader platform. We do recommend version 8. We do support version 7 as well. We make sure that you're familiar with everything you need to do to get set up. All right, so we do that one-on-one session. All right, so you get all this 2 years of our charts, 2 months in our room for $29.77. And for the first 20 people to respond, we're going to save you $1,000, making it $19.77. Okay, so $19.77. All right, so again, send an email to support@NaviTrader.com. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and review for any more questions. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and Hopefully I'll get through all these questions. See a question, how extensively have the indicators been tested? Well, I can test them in our automated system. And also, I've been running these charts and indicators for probably over 15 years and given them a pretty thorough test. See a question, does the signals form at the close of a bar? Yes, they do. See a question, based on your experience at a certain hours, you should not trade the New York session. I will say this, first few minutes after 9:30 are extremely erratic, usually for about the first 5 minutes after 9:30 Eastern, very, very erratic. Also tomorrow morning, as I said, at 8:30 Eastern, you do have 8:30 Eastern tomorrow morning, you have the jobs report, the employment report. That's going to create a lot of volatility. So I would recommend everyone tune in tomorrow morning at 8:30 and look at the market. Also, again, do join us tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern. I'll show you these charts under live market conditions. Yeah, we'll show you the charts tomorrow morning under real-time conditions. Let's see, you suggest a 3-to-1 ratio, but if the market is performing better, longer winners, does your system adjust? Yes, you can use the automated trailing stops, and that will keep you in a trade much longer. In fact, let me just mention, we have a lot of new customers every month, and a lot of our customers come to us as profitable traders. But what they're looking for is something that would keep them in a trade a lot longer. And that's one of the big benefits of our charts, is the charts will give you the confidence to stay with your trades a lot longer. See a question, what's the address for the 9 a.m. class tomorrow morning? Actually, the class tomorrow morning is at 10 a.m. Eastern. So 10 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. See a question, does your system only work in Ninja? Yes, the system works exclusively with NinjaTrader, and NinjaTrader is a phenomenally great platform. Also, they're very NinjaTrader is very good at customer support, as we are at NaviTrader as well. We put a high degree of importance on customer support. All right, so there's a link in the room for the live session tomorrow morning. Just click on that attendee go to webinar link, and you can click on that to register. Okay, so lots of great questions here. See, since NinjaTrader platform don't have moving average indicator, what can be used? Actually, NinjaTrader does have a moving average indicator, so if you're looking for that, it's definitely there. Our charts, however, do not use moving averages. Okay, so we are a little bit limited here in time here today, so I'm going to answer as many questions as I can. If we don't get through all of them, then again, just send an email to support@navitrader.com, or you can call our 800 number. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and review as many questions as I can. All right, so the class tomorrow, let me just mention the class tomorrow morning is at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern time, New York time, not Central Standard Time. So the class, the session tomorrow under live market is 10 a.m. Eastern time. See a question, does NinjaTrader have the option of using range charts? Absolutely, sure do. In fact, the Renko charts are actually a form of a range chart, but you can use range charts if you want to do that too. And our price bars will work with range charts. I see a question, any plans to fully automate? Yes, we do have that available. It's a completely separate separate subscription. Do we disclose the system rules and code? Absolutely not. Now, we've spent a lot of time and money developing what we have here at NaviTrader. We do not disclose the code. All right, so I see a question, can the system, I think your question is, do we have a lifetime license? No, we do not. Everything we do here at NaviTrader is on a subscription basis. All right, subscription basis. All right, so with that, I think we've covered most of the questions. If there are any questions that you feel went unanswered, please send an email, support@navitrader.com. We are running out of time here. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Tiffany. Again, hopefully everyone can join us tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Again, 10 o'clock Eastern time. 10 o'clock Eastern time.
Okay, thank you so much. I am going to go ahead and place that link one more time into the chat room. It's got both the time as well as that link for everybody. And I would like to give a special thank you to Steve of NaviTrader for a great presentation. Everyone in here today will receive an on-demand video recording of today's event. So just keep an eye open for that email over the next couple days. NinjaTrader ecosystem is pleased to sponsor these weekly vendor events as a value-added service for our clients. If you find value in these events, we hope you will attend them on a regular basis. Again, we would like to remind you the information provided in this was of NaviTrader and not of NinjaTrader. All information was for educational purposes and should not be construed as trading advice. Again, we appreciate the time you spend with us. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we hope to see you in future webinars. Happy trading from all of us at NinjaTrader ecosystem. And again, thank you so much, Steve. I'm going to go ahead and leave the room open just for a couple more minutes for anyone that wants to grab that link for the live market session.